Phil starts in.
All right, welcome back, guys, to the Philly Sports Escape. Fuck.
See, keep that in there. But
Try again.
Jackson's taking my job. We're doing rehearsals, so Jackson, go ahead. But anyway, boys, this is episode 10. So let's get a little round of applause for the Philly Escape Pod. You thought we weren't going to get there. We had people doubting us, but now we're here.
We took a little hiatus, but we're back.
It took some time.
The playoffs were rough, guys. 10. I'm not gonna lie.
We got through it though. I mean, so here's the thing: everything's changing. The designs, the slide designs, it's all green now, baby. So we're all in the Eagles season now. So
we're going from
episode
down
10
to like whatever this is. Eagles talk. It might be down bad. I don't know.
Could be getting worse, but we'll take a lot more time to get there once we get to the Eagles season. But we're diving into the Eagles offense today. We're going to look at their depth chart, see what might look good, what might be a lot of injury proneness going on there. Refresh on our season predictions from episode 5 years ago when we first started. And then we'll take out the trash a little bit on Chris Sims because we just don't like where he's going on Jalen Hurts right now. Outside the top 40, Ben Simmons' future plus the Sixers. And then also a little appreciation post for my man, the myth, the legend, Mark Zumoff. Retires after 27 years of broadcasting for the Sixers. So we got to give you one final goodbye from the Philly Escape Pod just to make it all real. Reel it in. So bring it home for a special episode 10. But before we do that, all right, for this intro, quick thing, because I don't know. It was different for me growing up. When you go to the bathroom, okay, do you lock the door? Even if it's in your own house, if it's just family in the house,
I'll say
no friends.
It's like a textual question.
So yes from Flay.
I actually can't lock the bathroom door in my house.
Okay, but if you could, let's assume that you can.
Home.
There is not a lock.
Assume somebody's home and it's like family, maybe not friends, but family.
Yeah, I still lock it like most of the time.
No, not really.
Yeah,
do where I don't.
So it's an easy lock. Long story. Long time ago, Jackson was at my house. He was apparently sick just based off the smell alone. And light was on, doors not locked, and my mother walked in. So she got to bear. I don't know what she saw, but she is still blind to this day.
I was told pants down around my ankles, underwear down around my ankles, mid diarrhea.
Must have been 12.
His mom just comes over, sees me.
It's not
oh man.
I always locked the bathroom before that. I just forgot.
You forgot this time. Okay.
Similar,
I was in a rush.
Never forget again though.
Jackson, reason why I ask actually is because Erica did this the other day. She left the door unlocked and she's like, if the door's closed, then you assume somebody's in there. I'm like, that's a Jackson thing. Like, what? Where the hell did you get this?
Well, no,
I would agree with that.
I always assume someone's in there if the door's closed and the light's on.
Yeah, and the fans.
Yeah,
on.
I mean it's fair to assume, but you still gotta lock it, right?
I mean, you still want to lock it, but like
you still gotta go
that
lock
person.
Though,
that person ideally should knock
to like get the after stuff going.
That person should knock though.
Just look it up, connecting eyes with Caputi's mom, seeing that look of horror, dude. I'm never not locking again.
Either way, you're scarred for life, so you're taking that one with you. So in the spirit of Zoom off, then in this case, open all doors and windows because, like I said, it's episode 10, and we're about to jump in. So we're talking your Philadelphia 2021 Eagles. Like I said, we're just doing offense today, so we're not breaking down anything defense. We need things to talk about, so let's save some good things for the next couple of weeks before we get to the actual season. These are your Eagles, guys. So take a good look. Some may go, some may stay. Most should stay, but a few guys on here may go either by trade, by cut, or just by injuries alone is probably the most probable thing. So let's break down each piece, right? You got Jalen all but confirmed at the helm of this team, running this team. But let's say we start with the offensive line. We got 4 or 5 guys returning from the 2017 team coming back here and being your starting offensive line. So you got Jason Kelce at the lead at the center, as he always is. Who knows if this is his last year? You know, we're always talking about that. And this guy can keep coming back from years. Brandon Brooks on the right of him, with Lane to the right of him. Again, very injury prone on the right side, but probably your best part of your offensive line there. And then you got Sayamalu and Mailata on the left. So this is the key piece for what really impacts my season predictions. Let's not go too far ahead and talk that yet. But what are your thoughts on the offensive line? How much value these guys bring to this team, and what some of the challenges might be, just knowing that a lot of these guys are injury prone.
I think that's the core piece to your offense. As far as if they're healthy, then I think we're going to win more games than we should, and if they're injured, we're going to lose more games than we should. I think last year there was 11 different starting combinations, so there was a ton of inconsistency across the offensive line, and I think that plays a big part in how these guys operate. Being the trust that they have with the guy next to them. So they got to stay healthy, and if that is a thing that is able to happen, then we're definitely going to be able to squeak out a couple extra W's this season.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah. Go ahead, Brits.
I mean, it's pretty much spot on. I mean, if you look at the names we got on the offensive line, like it's like we got a good offensive line if they're not or if they're not hurt. But also like the age factor is like always a question coming into, especially now. I mean, the age factor has been a thing for a couple of years now, really. But I guess that's really just comes down to like injuries. Like I still think if they play and they're not hurt, like they still are effective. I don't think they're as good as they once were. Like really any of these guys, just because of the injuries or injuries.
That big energy.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I still have a lot of confidence in the offensive line, the starters at least.
I feel like our offensive line, like the players that are in, barring like Mailata is sort of like a project who I don't even know if you consider him a project anymore. He's like kind of like legitimately good.
Yeah.
And I think he's only going to improve. He's only been playing football for like 3 years. Sayamalu, I think, is probably the biggest question mark regarding like actual capability. But I trust Stoutland. I think Stoutland really does a good job, like, teaching up these like 5th round draft picks into like legitimate starters. Kelce, I don't understand Philadelphia's obsession with trying to get him to retire. I feel like every offseason, every media post is like, is he going to retire this year? It's been going like 5 years. Just let the man play and retire when he wants to.
Yeah, no, I think it's almost out of fear. Just
I feel like it's more
that he's going to go. I don't think it's.
I don't see it with any other fucking player on the team though. Like it's not like is this like Cox's last year or is this Brandon Graham's last year? Just every year they're like, is he going to retire?
I think it's more so. I think it's more so not that we want him to retire. I think it's more so that we need to find a replacement, and I think we did this year. So maybe that'll stop now.
Yeah, we got Dickerson. Well, I think that's good. I think Brooks, barring an injury, is going to be like all-star level play. I think Kelce, barring an injury, is going to be all-star level play. I think Lane Johnson, barring an injury, is going to be all-star level play.
Well,
and I think Mailata is going to be approaching all-star status. I think that
What do you think we have a lot of chances that they actually? Sorry to interrupt you, Jackson. What do you think the chances that this lineup actually stays consistent and let's say gets at least 11 games where it's all the starters playing?
I think
how realistic is that for you guys?
Probably won't.
I personally think it's realistic because I feel like we go through seasons where we have healthy offensive lines and then seasons of turmoil. We've had like 2 seasons of turmoil in a row, it feels like. And I think it's about time that I think everybody's been resting for a while. Like they didn't end this. Like I think they've had enough time to rest. And I think they'll be healthy for this season. I do think, hopefully, we'll have a healthy offensive line. I think we'll have one player get injured for like the rest of the year. I don't know. It just always seems to happen. But I think we do have a lot of offensive line depth, which is like good. We haven't had that in a while. Like we've got Dillard waiting in the wing. We just drafted Dickerson. Even like Matt Pryor or somebody like that can just come in and play. I don't know. I think even if we have an injury, even like no matter who it is, really honestly, we're built to like be able to withstand an injury, basically.
We do have a huge amount of depth now.
As long as we only have to fill in
Yeah.
like one guy here and there, but you still
Yeah.
want to have
And
the starters
it-
playing.
I think we could have
exactly.
two positions go down, any position on the offensive line, and be fine.
I wouldn't go as far as to say any position, but I think depth definitely is the name of the game. And even
But
if
at
even
every
if
position, we do have a backup that can play.
exact, and I think turmoil was the name of 2019 and 2020. You know, the different rotations that we saw. You know, that Carson had to endure and feel the pain of. But
Even in
you
the
know,
Super Bowl year, we were pretty hurt.
I think even going back to 2017, we felt that too, but we had that depth that got us there. So I mean, it was the next man up mentality. I think that probably first started with the line even before
think it was most of the
Carson went
line.
out. So
Let's be
yeah,
honest here.
and just to finish my point, Jackson, you know, like that was Sayamalu stepping it up for Wisniewski. That was Big V stepping it up when Jason Peters, which we knew he was going out, went out. So that whole mentality even started with the offensive line before we even got to Carson, you know, going out against the Rams. But yeah, depth is the name of the game. If we want to get over that 500 hump, then, you know, we're going to need a strong offensive line. I think we can afford, with the depth that we currently have, to lose one or two guys. If we're losing Lane, it's a little bit of a problem for me. I get a little bit worried.
No, we still have a serviceable starter.
We still have a guy who can start, yes, but I think he does need to prove himself as to telling us what level he can play at. He still needs to kind of prove himself there.
I think I just wanted to say, like, let's be honest. Not having Jason Peters, I love what Jason Peters did for the team, like in his early years and throughout his career. Yeah. But not having him on the team is huge for injury concerns. He's a walking injury risk. He's guaranteed to get like 3 to 4 injuries during the season.
Comes back from an injury and he's like right back out.
And he plays hurt, so it hurts the team.
Comes back from an injury and like 2 years in a row, and then asks for a contract. Like,
yeah, I mean at this point,
it goes back to
let these guys develop. I mean, yeah, let the next man up take the reins, and you got to either figure out if he's the guy or get someone who can be the guy.
Because that's what I said back in even like 2015, like Chip Kelly era. I think, you know, I said like Jason Peters, like, okay, we know he's going to come in, he's going to be our starter. We know he's going to get hurt, fine, and then just let them. As long as you have a replacement, good. Like that's how my game plan was for like every year after 2015. But I realized like that's actually not good, because you're not allowing for, one, more cap space, and two, just allowing for younger guys to come in and develop to ultimately replace them. So it was fine for a couple of years because you still had a Hall of Fame player when he did play, but you knew he wasn't getting past like week 8.
It was a guaranteed injury.
I wonder what his
guaranteed. It was guaranteed.
I wonder what his percentage is on injurypredictor.com.
Let's look it up. Let's do a search.
It's gotta be
90% on every part of his body. Yeah, it can't be good.
He's like that guy from SpongeBob, blast phones and paper scan.
And paper scan, dude, just torn apart. So let's look at that then, right? Injury proneness. So Lane Johnson, ankle collapse. He was fully cleared on May of this year, so he got the surgery. Hopefully he's coming back good from that. Brandon Brooks coming from the torn left Achilles. He came out saying, we were the best period, and we can still be that. Let's hope you can show that, Brandon Brooks. Mailata, no injury history, so that's good, other than a concussion from last year. But with that said, that happens to a lot of guys in this game. But he was a project turned into somebody who's now what could be considered, I think a Pro Bowler once he gets more time and volume. And I think he's definitely that starter. I don't think there's anybody who starts in that spot. I don't think it's Andre Dillard, but you love to see that Dillard can be that guy right behind him.
Also, you just love to watch the journey of Jordan Mailata from like 7th round rugby player who's never played football. He didn't even know footballs had laces up until 3 years ago. That's ridiculous.
As a person personally who played football his life and then played rugby and know how different the games are to go from rugby to football, I mean, I love this project from the very beginning, because it's like this guy's basically like a 7-foot, 400-pound running back now becoming a lineman. Like, he's going to be unstoppable. So once he gets his mechanics down, his strength is just ridiculous. You can't get around that.
Balding or
bulldozer, yeah.
Sayamala had some knee injury issues of last year, but then again, Jason Kelce, really nothing going on with him. So he'll come back, and he had some really ball handling issues last year from the snaps, but he'll return to be his normal self. He really proved
He
to be
battles through injuries,
an
and
amazing
also
player for us.
he always
I feel
plays
like
through
I feel like
injuries.
I feel like overall the offensive line, if we were giving it a grade, would be like a B+ to like an A- with the upside of like an A+ potentially.
So what do you? I mean, okay,
I'd say
injuries
like B+
aside,
is a
right?
good.
Injuries aside, aging 4 years since the 2017 Super Bowl season. We're a long way from 2017 now. No sacks in the Super Bowl allowed. Do you think these guys are the same or could be the same based on age? I mean, I remember the one thing I think back to is just the week by week matchups, right? And it was always a question of, how's Lane going to do against Von Miller? How's Lane going to do against Ryan Kerrigan? How's Lane going to do against all these like top Pro Bowl, all-star type defensive guys? And he won every single battle. Like he shut them up every single week. Do you still think you get that same storyline each week from Lane Johnson or from some of these other guys? Like I could see that with Mailata, maybe not that happening as much with Lane as much as it did in 2017.
Well, I think the good thing is that with these players, I think that they're older, but they're not like towards the end of their career yet. Like Jason Peter was just playing, and how old was he? Like 46 or something? I don't even know if he's that old. Like,
no,
Looks like
not
36 or
36,
38.
53 if you carry the one. Yeah, but
I think Jordan Mailata and potentially Sam Malo are like like rising, like up. They're getting better in their careers. They're still like on the upward trend. I don't think any of these players are like too old to play at this point. I still think they're very good players.
I don't think they're too old to play, but I don't think they'll ever be what they were. Like
I agree with you,
I
Brooks.
don't
Solid
think,
middle
we can get.
I think they're slowly downtrending. I'm not saying that it's like that's just natural. I just think that's what's happening.
I
feel
think
like
we can
Kelsey,
get like a
yes.
B+ at best from these guys, which is still a really good line and definitely better than the league average.
The thing is, if the line's healthy, I'm not worried about that position. Like you know what I mean? There's other positions that we are healthy at that I'm worried about.
I just feel like Brooks, Peters, and Lane Johnson. I mean Brooks, Lane Johnson, and Kelsey are all considered like still like league wide like top like 5 or 6 in their position, aren't they?
Yeah, but that
I
was
would
like,
say that.
but the last time they played healthy was like 3 years ago. Is the problem?
Not well versed on O lines, honestly.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, if Brandon Brooks is at his best game and not injured, he's probably the best guard in the league. I will easily say that. Lane,
he is surprisingly
Lane's like top 3.
I think Lane's got to be top 3. He's got to still be up there. Kelsey, he's got to be top.
He's
probably
top 3 center.
The Super Bowl year,
he's got to
he
be
was
top
definitely
3.
like the best.
Mailata's like ceiling is crazy high.
And so if he plays to a top 5,
and what if we put
then you're looking at a top 5 offensive line at a minimum.
And what if Dickerson comes in and plays good, and we slide him at guard?
I get too excited though.
My
like I said, they have been injured like 3 years in a row, and we lit up the most sacks and hits last year in the entire league. So we have to
this is true.
Dial it back a little bit. They have to be healthy, which is a big if right now.
Yeah. But we're talking barring no injury.
Yeah, it's a big if.
And why is it even more so important? Is because you got basically a rookie quarterback in Jalen Hurts behind the line. So you got to allow him to develop and not you give him the time that he needs to read his progressions and develop that way versus just rushing, for any daylight that he can find like Carson was doing last season. So
that being said, Jalen Hurts will be much more able to take advantage of those scenarios than Carson was.
Yeah, luckily now we have a mobile quarterback who can kind of escape the pocket.
Who can at least turn that into something, even if it's, even if he can't throw the ball away, he'll do something with his legs. So
probably
that's something that's promising.
Now,
I feel like we might.
You could say that.
I think that we're gonna maybe mold our offense sort of similar to like how Seattle has been molding their offense, where it's like, well, not maybe. Like I feel like Seattle for the past few years has had like an offense where like haven't they had like a bad line where like Russell Wilson has to sort of scramble, toss it out to like the.
Yeah, they've had a bad line forever.
Yeah, like I feel like we're gonna sort of have to play sort of like that.
He's also one of the best deep ball throwers in the league, so
which is pretty sad because I don't want to have to.
Tossing.
Yeah. But just like I said, we are a long way from 2017. I mean, in 2017, we were 13th in passing yards, first in touchdowns. So we were just a high-power offense at that point. We were just putting up numbers.
We had so many weapons,
and we had
the
one
thing that I always
third
think
in rushing
back to with
yards.
that team is just how many different ways we could score on you.
Yeah, we didn't have like superstar guys. We just had so much talent all around the team.
That's what our offensive line was the star. It felt like.
Yeah.
Oh
Those were
yeah,
the
they
those are the
opened up so many opportunities
those
for
are the
like
biggest.
Jai and like Garrett Blunt.
They're like the biggest names on our team, really.
Well, you
Besides
got
Carson.
you got the best of both worlds because you got all the turnovers from the defense, and then you just put up tons of numbers on offense. So it's like you gave all the opportunities to the offense, and the offense did everything they could to score.
Just goes to show how good.
It's gonna turn into a nostalgia pod.
When
you
have a great line, it's just so much easier to play NFL football.
Either way, in conclusion, start with the trenches. It's important.
Yeah.
But that we know that's critical to the Philadelphia Eagles. So we're happy that that's the case. So let's shall we talk to Jalen Hurts and what he's going to become and what he's going to do this year? First, what do you got on your mind here?
I feel like most of our Hurts takes are going to come from the taking out the trash section, are they not?
Yeah, so let's save Hurts for
maybe hold off a lot of our Hurts takes for that.
And let's move towards like the wide receivers right now.
And that's kind of the order I had set. So Bert's is throwing me off actually.
My bad.
So let's go to the wide receivers, then tight ends, to go more on that topic. But Devontae Smith, right? For me, number one outside guy, not a problem. I've heard other people say this now. We said it first. I know I said it with you guys first. Guaranteed 1,000-yard season, no doubt in my mind. Watching this guy just catch balls with Jalen, he looks good, dude. I have a feeling. I have a hunch. I don't know if that means much coming from me, but if you're playing fantasy this year, this is a great late round pickup because he's a rookie. Guaranteed 1,000-yard season. Remember, he has 7 drops and 2 college parties as a part of his stats in college. 200 yards, 2 touchdowns with Hurts from college, so they have a little chemistry built up from Bama. But what you guys say for a little Devontae Smith and what he's going to be doing this year for us?
I will say that I always was high on him, but I'm even more high on him now after I've heard Merrill talk about him and Ray Dittinger talk about him and how much they love this guy.
Ray Diddy.
Yeah, they've been like literally saying acting like he's gonna be like not guaranteed, but like they're just talking about like how he has easy Hall of Fame potential with the way he plays and how he's practicing right now.
For a rookie.
Yeah. It's crazy. But then again, the only thing that scares me about that is like, that hype.
You buying into the hype, Brit?
Yeah, that's just
you buying into the hype, Brits?
That dream team hype. You gotta be cautious.
There's anybody to buy for the hype.
Listen. This is
Ben Simmons
different.
As LeBron, and we all bought it.
This is different. This isn't Aguilar first round pick bust. And that's how the story ends. Trust me, this guy looks different. He looks like he can't be broken. He puts up a wall and he's not letting anybody inside. So.
At the very least, someone who's putting in that much work, you got to respect it. Nothing else, at this point.
I'm cautiously optimistic with the offensive or with the wide receiver group. I think Devontae Smith could be good, dude. I kind of want to jump on that 1,000-yard bandwagon with you. I don't know if
it's here. You better hop on quick.
I want to get excited. I'm scared to get heartbroken.
Extra game too.
I think the love is going to be spread a lot this year, though.
I think the thing that I'm the most interested in finding out with the wide receiver group is who's going to play 1, who's going to play 2, and who's going to play in the slot.
Yeah, so this is why I kind of brought up these guys too. I think Greg Ward, I think you just have to give it to him, at least for between him and Rieger at the slot position, kind of 2-3 swap in and out. Yeah, I don't think it makes a difference other than, Rieger can probably run the jet sweep and Greg Ward can't.
I think Rieger's going to have a better year this year.
Yeah.
I think so too. I mean, Greg Ward, I think he's that Jason Avant possession type catcher. Like he's just always there. Rieger, I feel like he's 31 receptions, 400 yards, 12 yards per catch in 11 games. So not a lot of production, but I think he showed some flashes that he can come back and be a little bit better from what he looked like last year. I don't think last year was a complete failure. This guy, let's be honest, this guy's not
sucked last year too.
He's not going to be J-Jaw. He's not going to be J-Jaw, right? So, we're looking for a guy who's going to improve, and I think he will. I think he can definitely do it.
He's also got
I'm on the J-Jaw hype train this year.
I was going to say, I would literally take an injured Trevon Grimes over J-Jaw. Yeah, we'll save that shit for another day.
We're taking out the J-Jaw trash.
J-Jaw is trash.
No, thank you.
Tell him he didn't have that drop.
But yeah, I mean, Rieger has that side-to-side quickness. I feel like he's just a guy that, you're going to design, especially with Sirianni coming in and being like a play caller, drawing up these plays. They're going to be drawn up specifically for Rieger to get those jet sweeps, those screens, quick bubble screens, things that are just going to get him in open space just to try to take it downfield.
Yeah, you're saying 1,000 yards for Smith. I'm saying 800 yards for Rager.
And I'm okay
That's
with
the
that.
number that was in my head too.
I'm
Jackson.
okay with
I can
that.
see that. I could
said like
also see
750.
500 for Ward, which is a good year.
I'll go a little under 800.
That's a great, that's a great stat line for
And
a second
we also
receiver.
still have Quez Watkins on the team, I think, right?
So
Yeah,
we do. We have Fulgham. So
I mean,
John Hightower.
I'm glad.
two
I'm
other
glad
guys.
I'm glad you guys brought those guys up. What are the guys to look out for? For that 4th spot. I think it is Quez Watkins and Fulgham. Maybe even Watkins.
Fulgham's listed as the one right now.
It depends on the situation. I
Or
think
not
Quez
one,
Watkins.
but,
He has the speed. Like he showed. Like he only had 1 touchdown last year, but in that 1 touchdown, he broke I feel like a million ankles on his way to the end zone.
Yeah,
So
he's quick.
He's
He's
quick
quick. He can
guy.
change
Talented.
pace.
Fulgham proved he could do it against a good defense in the Steelers last year, putting up like 130, 140. So he's not only faster and more agile than like an Alshon, but I think he still can have the strength of an Alshon going up for balls like that. So, I mean, I know last year, guys, I was playing against in fantasy had him as a consistent flex starter. Of course, he started doing bad once they started putting him in.
Yeah.
But I mean, he can be a starter in this league. I just think he's probably more at the 4 spot on the opposite side of Devontae Smith.
I think in that 3 through 5, it's pretty interchangeable based on the whatever we want to run, what kind of situation we want to do with our slot receiver, if we want him going long or if we want him cutting across.
It's gonna be all like you're gonna see. I feel like a ton of people, in like you said, in that 3 through 5, like Travis, Greg Ward, John Hightower, Quez Watkins.
I'm high on Fulgham. I really think what he showed last year.
No, that's your guy. Yeah.
Promising.
So I just think you have to have Ward at least in the 2-3 mix there because you can rely on him. I mean, 53 receptions last year, 400 yards. So Flay, you weren't far off as far as like him being like a 500-yard guy. I think that's a good number for him. 6 touchdowns. So I mean, he got the touchdowns.
He was effectively the number 1 receiver for a chunk of the year. I feel like.
Yeah, even though he didn't do it in yards, I mean, he made up for it in touchdowns. So tied for 29th in the league for touchdowns. So not too shabby, But I mean, those are our receivers. Like I said, I think that's what you're looking at 1 to 4 with or 1 to 5 with Watkins and Fulgham in there. I think Hightower. I think he has a lot of promise. He has a ton of speed. Took the top off of defenses and really stretched the field, but kept dropping the ball. So I mean, that's something you can improve. But if he does that, I mean, he could be a deep threat if we just see him improve on catching the ball a little bit more.
We know as Philly fans don't have a long patience for people.
We don't have a lot of
ball,
patience.
No.
Nah, we'll send you out of town real fast.
We didn't expect a lot from Hightower though, so we weren't giving him as much hate as Jay Jaw, which more deservedly so.
Yeah, I mean,
needed that hate. So, so let's move on to the other side. So tight ends, right? So
this is the
tight end
interesting
scare
one.
me, man.
You got Goddard, you got Ertz, and you got Rodgers. So you signed him. Actually did pretty well. Actually stepped up in the time of need when Ertz wasn't there. So surprisingly too, in his older age. So
he's a veteran.
came over from Packers a while back, and I've liked what he's done with
How
the
old
Eagles
is he?
for being like a 3rd tight end option.
I don't think he's over 30.
No,
He's
older, isn't he?
I think he's like probably 29.
He's
Richard
somebody do the check on that. But
I'd be so surprised.
Yeah, that is what it is.
I think Goddard's number 1. Worried about the injuries.
Oh, he is 29. Wow.
We'll also see how that Jack Stoll kid is from
why do I think he was
Nebraska,
so much
I think,
older?
or Wisconsin.
Yeah,
one of those schools.
undrafted. We'll see. It's kind of like a Cinderella story. If he pans out to be something amazing, that's nice.
I mean, at this point, even if he's just good at one thing, whether or not it's like pass blocking or catching, like if he's just really good at one of those things,
I think
a slottable person.
I think what scares me about the tight end position is that we don't know if Zach Ertz is going to be here. We know he's potentially not even like mentally checked in right now.
I feel like it's a surefire thing he won't be here.
Yeah, and if he's not here, then Goddard's number 1, who I think we're lucky to have somebody as good as Goddard as our number 1. But he's also injury prone. We know on Sports Injury Predictor. He wasn't high up. He had a high injury prediction rate. He's high injury prone. He could easily go down. and then all we have is Rodgers as our number one. We're
Yeah, we gotta
relying
pull
on
up.
Stoll.
We gotta pull up Kroom, dude.
Yeah, might as well use them as a sponsor. But I feel like because I went back and forth on this. I'm like, is he staying? Is he going? Like, I have no idea at this point. Originally, my thought was he's definitely staying. Now I think I'm on the other side of the fence. I think he's definitely going.
I feel like
At
I'm
least
the
I-
opposite.
I think like that's the right thing. That's definitely the right thing to do at this point. I mean, he's with his guy Carson, and now he's gone. Like he's got. I feel like nothing left. I feel like
Is he that ride or die Carson? I feel like he's an Eagles boy.
No, I feel like
No,
he
I
can
don't think-
roll over
he's
to
not
Carson, and not only
ride or
Carson,
die,
and it's
but-
Frank Wright too.
That's true.
I
I don't think he's ride or
yeah.
die Carson though. I don't think.
No, I don't think he is either. But I mean, it's one less thing. It's one more factor.
Well, here's the thing. I think we're like kind of like downplaying Zach Ertz as just a player. Like
I know. I think he's still a good player.
No, I think he's
too.
still great. I think he's great.
Like,
I
I
think
would
he's-
love to
I
keep him
think
if
he's
that's how.
top 3,
I think
4.
he's out. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah,
I honestly think we restructure him and sign him for a longer term deal.
I think we keep him. I think we end up playing. He plays on the team this year. I have no idea what happens after that, but I think he does end up playing on the team this year.
And yeah, I mean the reason it feels like that is because he hasn't been dealt yet. So like I feel like if he's here now,
At
he's
first I
probably
was
going to
like,
stay.
no, I
He's
mean, I
gone.
feel like there's still a chance that we deal him before the deadline.
There's definitely a chance, but
next
I was.
season, especially if he's playing really well and his value
Yeah.
is like way higher.
Listen,
that could be the case.
I'm just torn
I feel
either
like
way.
he's
Like
so good for a guy like Hertz too, because he was so good. Like his knack is getting right in between the secondary and the linebackers,
Yeah.
and just creating a pocket and always like being available.
so this trade rumor came up a while back, and of course Howard Eskin shut it down. He's like, "That's no way it's going to happen. I know people, and they told me it's not going to happen." Okay, Eskin, whatever. Him going to Buffalo for us getting a younger tight end, I thought I think it makes a lot of sense because you're putting Ertz on a team that is Super Bowl bound with Allen. And I feel like it just makes sense that I don't know who the tight end there now is. I think it's Eifert or somebody who's very injury prone and hasn't
I think
reached his full potential.
they're pretty weak in the tight end position, I think.
But I'm pretty sure they're weak there, and I feel like that's one thing that could really bolster up that offense a little bit more. So I thought that trade rumor made a lot of sense. And then for us to get a younger guy who could be that second option to Goddard, could make a lot of sense developing in the future. So I think that's a big possibility. You heard it here first.
I feel like at this point, if you're trading Zach Ertz, you want to try to get draft picks for him.
Yeah,
Unless you're getting like a
or go
right now
young
starter.
You go young either way, in my opinion. And then give him to a team who's going to the Super Bowl.
Dawson Knox, whoever the hell that is.
Yeah,
he wasn't bad in fantasy.
He wasn't bad,
Really?
but
That name does not ring a bell.
I'd much rather have Zach Ertz.
Never heard of him.
So
I think in much more positive position, the running back position. Miles Sanders, I think no doubt he's a top 5 running back this year, or at least top 6 or 7.
So have
I
you
would
heard the
say
rankings?
top 10, but I don't know
Wait, what's the rankings?
if he's top 5.
So somebody I think put him at 19th. Maurice Jones-Drew put him at 27th. But MJD is literally always wrong. So if you can throw
he's
that
always
out
an
there
Eagles
first.
hater too.
He's always hating for some reason. I don't know. Put him at 19th.
There's a
but
lot
even
of good
then,
running backs in
wouldn't
I
the
could
league
see
right now,
him
too.
realistically being at like 12.
So last talks, right? I think I put him at 5 because I'm so hype on Sanders. I think he has so much potential.
I got his
I mean,
jersey now, or his jersey.
You got the shirt, nice dude. You got to
And-
support,
and-
yeah. 867 yards last season in 11 games. So if he played the full season, he was probably going to reach the 1,200 yard mark. 5.3 yard average per carry off of 164 attempts. So this guy was finding the open lane and just taking it 60 yards, I think multiple times, at least 2-3 times. The one thing that I did want to look back and see why people were hating on him a little bit more, he did have the 4 fumbles and his catching percentage went from 80 to 53 from 2019 to 2020.
Yeah.
So that was a little cause for concern. But
Well,
at the same time,
the
I'm really
offense
high
was
up
in
on this guy.
shambles,
I said maybe top 5 to begin with. He's got to be at least at a minimum top 10 back in this league.
Yeah,
I
I'd be
think-
surprised if he's not a top 10 back this year.
He's got big play potential. I think our line is going to be healthy. I think they're going to be busting
Yeah.
holes for him. I think he's going to get a lot of yards.
You think he's going to get more? Because I remember our big
Yes.
qualm last year was
Yep.
volume with the run.
We- Yeah, I think any coach would probably run it more than we ran it last year. It didn't make any sense. We were having success with the run
oh
game.
my
Run it.
god, it's an issue when you have a Miles Sanders and he only averages 13 attempts per game. That's a
It's like
problem.
we had one bad run play, and then like in like the second quarter, and then we stopped running.
and that's only gone up 2 attempts from 2019 from 11 to now 13 in 2020. So Doug, even if Lurie or Howie was saying you need to pass 90% of the time, you got to just go against what they say there and just run the damn ball, dude.
He had over 1,000 all-purpose yards in 2019.
Scrimmage yards, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean the guy's good. He's a great fantasy pickup. He's got to be at least top 10.
Yeah.
Feels like top 5 at least. If he with the line and no injuries, top 5 guy.
Yeah.
Look out for Miles Sanders. Could be a good league pickup. So talking all fantasy predictions too, apparently.
I was gonna say, what is it, a fantasy pod now?
It might turn into a little bit.
You gotta sprinkle
I
fantasy
feel
in.
like
a little
only
bit,
like
little sprinkle.
only 2 of us here are even qualified to give fantasy advice.
Wait,
Who? Wait, you are saying me, right? Who won 2 years in a row back to
I
back?
was gonna say probably Caputi
I got
and Jackson.
third.
I don't even know if I'm on there.
Third
I
once.
actually-
We're at least
Third's easy.
champions.
I was in the.
Caputi.
I mean,
At
I
least-
was in the
at least
finals
the champs
last
in
year.
here.
I lost
Jackson even
to
make the
Caputi.
playoffs?
Shat the bed. Yeah, Jackson didn't.
You didn't make
I've
the
won
playoffs.
like 7 leagues in my life. Or
I
probably
actually
more than
never
that.
won a league. I always
Seven's
lose
a
in the
lot for a
finals.
lifetime.
I always lose in the finals. It's crazy.
I think either way, not the point.
Are
So
we good?
running
Never
game,
mind.
feel good about it. Let's talk about. All right, so we talked about all these guys. We're going to talk about Jalen in a little bit, but let me bring up, like I said, the depth is key here. And
Yeah, we
this
didn't
is
even get into the backups. I
full
think our running back depth
chart
is
here.
just like our wide receiver depth, where we can kind of like
Yep.
really take advantage of a lot of specific skills from each individual running back.
And that's you're looking at the running backs. They have the most guys there, just because they're all pretty notable names. Kenneth Gainwell looking like a good pickup in late rounds. I think 4th round pickup.
Kerryon Johnson.
Kerryon Johnson, who had a breakout season his first year as a rookie. Jordan Howard, who's really just all reliable at the goal line. He's not going to really do much else. But if you need to pound him in, pound a touchdown in there, he's your guy. Then Boston Scott too, as Sproles 2.0. So a lot of depth there. You like to see it, but you still got
Carry on good for the pass protection.
and still just got to have Miles Sanders in there. The whole season. I think it's still a problem if Sanders goes down, but at least you can kind of pick up the slack. Have at least a 3-headed monster with some of these guys going into the season.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a couple pods ago. I think the running back depth is crazy. Like, I think there's a lot of guys there that have potential to be like. I mean, mostly just like Miles and Gainwell and then Johnson, I'd say. But Boston Scott's not a bad guy to have in there. Jordan Howard's whatever.
It's good to have weapons. I mean, I can't say it's as good as the Blunt, Jay Ajayi, and Clement season. I can't just call that out just yet.
They're actually, it's crazy.
I mean, I didn't always like the running back by committee until that year, and then I was like, all right,
It really worked. Yeah.
This actually can work well.
Like that.
Well, hey, if Kerryon Johnson and Jordan Howard hit the fountain of youth, maybe we could have like a backfield that good.
I mean, Kerryon Johnson's not that old, right? I mean,
Jordan Howard,
23. How old is Jordan Howard?
Probably like 26.
Yeah, I mean, running backs.
Maybe old running back age.
Quick. Yeah.
Well, it's
28,
crazy.
29, 30.
You mentioned Ajayi and Blunt. It's like Miles Sanders and Gainwell are like the complete opposite players who I think might be our actual 1-2 punch this year, depending on how Kerryon Johnson is or look. Like you had like the big hitters, like how Blunt and Ajayi were, like they're big guys, they can hit the hole, and then you got 2 pass catchers in Miles Sanders and Gainwell. So it's gonna be interesting to see like having the 1-2 punch be like guys who receive the ball as well.
Yeah, no, it'll be good to see. I mean, because Sanders he's probably going to be used as more of a 1-2 back, but he can be a 1 through 3 down back. I mean, catching the ball
but I think
on 3rd down, he can. I mean, do you want to put him in there when you could just have a Gainwell or a Scott come in and catch those balls too? Probably more so Gainwell. We'll see what we get from him, but yeah, no, it's good to have those weapons. You have options is the best thing there.
Yeah.
So And then, like I said, Nick Mullins giving us some trade secrets, for week 2 against the 49ers. But
That's his only use.
looking at this, right? Do you guys feel good? Any qualms you have with this list? Receiver 1, 2? Anything that you guys want to touch on before we move on?
No, I mean, I think it kind of speaks for itself. The only thing I would say is like, beware of Joe Flacco coming in for Jalen Hurts to bring us to the Super Bowl. But
Please no.
Not again. I mean, if it is to be, so be it.
I mean, if he does that, that'd be.
I mean, if it's got to be a
That's-
2017 repeat, whatever.
there's gonna be a statue outside of the
Listen,
Lincoln
we have a
next year.
super-
It's gonna have
We have a
it's gonna have
Super
Joe
Bowl.
Flacco playing rock paper scissors with Sirianni.
We have a Super
Oh
Bowl
my
winning
God.
backup quarterback, boys. Let's
Jesus
get
Christ.
it.
God, proving once
Everything in
again that
life is
backups
becoming a
matter.
meme.
This is our
It's gonna be
second.
great.
This is our second
man.
backup Super Bowl MVP we've had.
God. But we talked about the liabilities, right? It's really just injury, and the core of this is the offensive line. So who's the biggest liability, going into the season? Who are you worried about the most? And Brits, I'm
The
not talking to
offensive
you.
line.
Not talking to you. Not talking to you.
Puts
Talking-
goes off another rant.
Talking to the listeners. Okay. So, but with that said, we went in deep on the offensive side of the ball. So how does this change what you guys are thinking on the Eagles and what we kind of talked about with the record predictions, the first time around?
Oh man. Just looking
Are
at
you
this
guys? How are
again.
you guys feeling? I feel like I'm a little bit more negative in my head than I was previously,
Really?
but I'm not sure. I'm not sure
More
at
negative.
the same time.
I would say we have slightly increased chance in the Falcons, but other than that, like no team has really had any significant changes going on. So I'm not like too far from where I left off. That being said, I still think that our division is gonna suck, and I believe recently it was ranked like the worst of all the divisions in the NFL, rightfully so. So again,
Well-
I think like 9 wins can still actually get us in first place in the NFC East.
Yeah. NFC
think-
least.
I
Yeah.
actually-
I really think 6 to 9 wins, something like that.
That's
And-
that's a good. I mean, that's pretty ballpark. That's pretty much. We had 7 and 9. I think was our. It was me.
I'll
me
say,
play 7,
yeah, I
and you
think
guys
I was the
9
one who
before.
had 7 too.
Yeah.
So
So
I'll say 8. I think
I'm not gonna-
I think we could probably pull off another one with the Falcons.
yeah, and I think hold on, I gotta extend this call here. Okay, what's going on, man? But the thing is too, like I think I just stay where I'm at. I know you guys are on the lower end, and I understand where you guys are coming from. I think I just get more the homer biased of just
17 and out.
loving the Eagles too much. Of course, all day. No, I mean 9 and 8. I think it all. I mean, but I think you get the 9 and 8 if you have a strong, healthy O line and you rely more on the run. I think those are the two things that I'm using as the core things to getting to 9 and 8. And I agree with Flay. I think that could easily get you this division. I just 17 games. It's a long season. People are going to get injured. That's the thing that you got to look out for. But I don't think there's been a lot of news that's really changed it. I think like the media and the fans, I feel like are moving more towards the upper end of the 500 mark, going like 11-6, which I think is ridiculous. Like, guys, you got to remember, new coaching staff, pretty much, new quarterback, new everything, right? I mean, new younger guys coming in too.
No film on us though.
What?
Yeah, we're
I
brand
mean,
new.
Helps,
I
but you
think-
can get figured out quickly. I mean, you got to remember a lot of this is new, and things have to gel first before anything happens.
I think we need something like a star breaking out on defense. Maybe like Josh Sweat has like an amazing season, or like Jalen Hurts comes out and he's like just an absolute savage taking over the league. Something like that, and
Yeah.
we have like
That would be the only way
maybe
I would
break
like.
that 9 or 10 games win mark.
Yeah, that would be the only way I would probably go up to 10 if someone really showed out this year. But I will say,
Yeah.
I don't think our division is as weak as you guys are saying now, because first it's definitely stronger than it has been the last 3 years now. Because I mean, the Giants got a lot better. I mean, it is Dallas, so who knows? They could just suck again. But there's no reason why they should suck with that team, especially since they upgraded on defense a little bit. Like, I don't know.
Who did the Giants add that made them like that much better? I mean,
They got Kenny Galladay.
Saquon.
Right?
Kenny
Yeah,
Galladay,
Galladay's a huge ad.
lots of the receiving
yeah,
core.
that was a
Leonard
big ad,
Williams
yeah.
on the defensive
They
side.
had a
is
good defense already
tackle.
too.
Yeah, their defense started doing really good towards the end of the year.
forget what big name corner they just signed as well that we were looking to get, which would have been a great addition.
Saquon's back. Like,
Well,
Saquon,
I mean, what is that? Looks like 5 of our 6 games in the division are after week 12. Is that?
yeah.
Yeah, we got
yeah,
lost 4 in a row.
yeah,
So
you got to
hopefully,
remember.
Maybe Saquon won't be
Bozo.
back for those games.
Yeah, I mean, just the whole teams will be beat up, and hopefully our youthful squad can maybe have a little bit more pep in their step even later on.
And I think
The
the
big-
fans just got to remember in general, like these tend to be losing seasons when you start with a new coaching staff, and then if you're really good, you get up to the 9-10 win, range tier once you get to the next season. But this is how these things happen. I mean, if you're looking at history, you
The only
tend to not
question-
get a lot of wins.
I think Dallas is going to be tough to beat. The Giants, it just all comes down to Daniel Jones. Like, is he good or is he not? Like, I'm pretty sure people are leaning towards him kind of being a bust. So that's probably that might hold them back. And then Washington is okay. Their defense is good, but they didn't really making significant upgrades on the offensive side.
Not buying into the Fitz magic.
No, I'm not quite there yet.
I mean,
But let's take a pause from the Magic. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll return back to more on a season predictions if we have any reason to believe that we should change our predictions from the first time around. So we'll be back in a little bit.
12 seconds later.
Welcome back, you guys, to the Philly Escape Pod of Sports John. And do you guys fucking smell something?
what do you
I
smell?
don't know.
smells bad.
Are you guys getting a whiff of that?
Oh.
I think we need to take out the trash.
I think we do. We're taking out the trash, and maybe we're trashing Jackson's intro there too, along with it. But
Take two,
guys,
take
guys, welcome back. Sometimes it's a little harder than it looks, doesn't it?
two.
Isn't it? But we're taking out the trash, Chris Sims style. If you take a look there, Brits, I actually spelled his name right. Although not that he deserves it.
A little
but,
nod to Carson Wentz throwing the paper balls in the trash cans.
That's also Chris Sims' head. It's not Carson Wentz, but it kind of looks like him. But yeah, no, nod, tip off the old block of just Carson shooting some paper trash basketball. So Jalen Hurts, right? 40th outside the 40th ranking of quarterbacks. We're throwing Chris Sims in the trash. What he's hating on, right? Because Howard Eskin had, bringing up Howard Eskin again, brought him on his show to talk about his stance on why he rated Jalen outside of the top 40. And really his big thing was his throwing motions, his throwing mechanics. And he touched on the completion percentage, which we know that's Jalen's biggest. If you're looking at pros and cons, we know it's his biggest fault. It's his biggest issue, biggest thing he needs to work on. 53 completion percentage from 4 games last year. Small sample size, but nonetheless,
Super
still bad. But we get it. And I mean, this is coming from Chris Sims, who had a 58, career completion percentage. So can he really talk on this? Does he really have any credibility? Probably not, right? But just plain garbage from Chris Sims. But his whole point was his throwing motion. He can run the ball well, run better than Carson even. But it's just the way he throws the ball. He doesn't put his whole body into it. He just puts his arm into it. I mean, that's where Chris Sims is coming from. It seems like a half-hearted, insincere way to say that he's out of the top 40. Because let's be honest, Jalen Hurts, I mean, we get it. He's not going to be top 15, maybe not even top 20, based on the small sample size and the fact that he still is basically a rookie. But to put him in the same tier as third string or second string, come on, man. The disrespect is just unbelievable.
Like,
this material that Chris Sims is putting out, it's non-recyclable.
So I tried to do a little stat
pure
dive
trash.
on this, and it's so hard to compare Jalen Hurts to any other quarterback in the NFL because, he had 148 passes, completed 77, so he had his 52%. Every other quarterback was either like a bona fide starter who had 300 plus passes, or they were a definite backup who had 50 or less passes. So he's the only person in that 150 range. The closest comparison I found was Fitzpatrick. 267 passes, 183 completions at 68.5%. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions compared to 6 touchdowns and 4 interceptions for Hurts.
He only
And
played
a
like
76
half a
point.
year.
Yeah, exactly. Hurts
Yeah.
only played 5 or 6 games, maybe, and 4 of them
No, I
he
mean,
may have played
Well,
like.
so
Fitzmagic.
did
Fitzmagic.
Patrick.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, keep going.
No, I mean, I just mean, like it's hard to kind of compare the looks that he had to anyone else volume wise, and then also like we touched on in the beginning with the O line, they were in shambles last year, so
Yeah.
it was like tough for anyone, especially a starting quarterback.
I think it's tough because I think it's like a bullshit take. You throw it in the trash. It's like Jalen Hurts. When I look at him, I see like a quarterback who's inspiring. He's like a natural born leader. He's got good escapability. He can get out of
Loving
the
that.
pocket. And personally, from my perspective on the eye test, it seemed like we had a better chance of converting a third down, passing or running, when we had Jalen Hurts out there than when we had Carson Wentz. When we had Carson Wentz, I felt like we were, we had very slim chances of converting even one first down during the drive. And I didn't feel that way when Carson was out there. And I think this is ridiculous because the way he's explaining it is that he's like, I'm trying to be very realistic. He just doesn't have good throwing motions. I'm going to rank him outside the top 40. But then he ranks Carson Wentz like 24. Carson Wentz was abysmal last year. It doesn't make any sense.
I'll do you one better, 18th. But yeah, I agree. And Britt, I'll let you go in a second. But Jackson, you and I fanboy off the eye test for Jalen, just like showing that he could lead the team, that they were willing to back him, that I actually had faith and could trust that, okay, maybe we'll drive downfield. I'd never had that faith towards the end with Carson. I just didn't. I didn't feel that. So Jalen comes in with that leadership. He's working with these guys as we speak. In addition to the running and the strength that he generally has, I mean, again, you are limited by talent, so he still has to prove that but these cons, I mean, these are things that he can work on. He can work on his accuracy, right? It doesn't mean, he can work on reading his progressions and not going to the run immediately when he sees that something's not working or that, the rush is coming in. So I think these are things that, again, a lot of fans and media said it last year, don't judge this guy too quick because it's only going to be 4 games, only going to be a couple games that he's playing. And then what did they do? They judged way too quick off of 4 games. I mean, he had 2 pretty decent games or you could say good games, 1 okay game and 1 really crap game. So small sample size. He's got a lot to prove. We invested a lot in him, but who's to say that he can't prove it himself, improve those mechanics, work with a coach he's familiar with in the new QB coach. I forget his name. I'm blanking on his name. But the things like leadership that he has just at his core of what he can bring to this team, those are things that are invaluable, that take you over the top, that take you to the next level, that have guys play for you. Like the guys played for, I'm going to say it, like the guys played for Nick Foles. So not taking away from Carson and what he did in 2017, he was amazing. Always give credit to that guy. But just a complete different show when Jalen came in versus Carson. Had to say it.
Yeah.
We'll check back in on Chris Sims' tune in like week 6.
Yeah, and I think we can feel safe in knowing that Jalen Hurts will go out and work on these things. It's not like an issue with Ben Simmons where you don't know if he's actually going to work and improve. I think Jalen Hurts will absolutely work on these issues.
He will. And yeah, like you said, he's going to get better. I just want to get off this topic because it's so ridiculous, but like just the only thing I'm going to say about it is how are you going to make the number one thing about what you're saying about his throwing mechanics and then just put a bunch of backups in there above him? What, do you think they have great throwing mechanics? They're just backups.
Some of those guys have thrown like 10
Drew Lock
passes last year. Exactly. Like some of those guys had literally like 10 throws last year.
Do you think they're throwing dimes and reading progressions? Like what? It's just such a ridiculous take. You're going to use that as your number one argument and then just put those guys ahead of him. It makes no sense.
Trash him, Caputi. Fucking.
Does his running ability not
dump him.
equal any value?
Dump him, dude.
We can dump him. If you look at the Jalen picture here too, just look at his left hand. I think he's giving his own ranking for Chris Sims. Just
Does Lamar Jackson have perfect throwing motion?
No, it's his number one.
Nobody's got quick fucking feet.
Exactly.
Hell yeah. Pros and cons to everything, but just pure trash from Chris Sims.
Yep.
So, on the topic of trash, right? So, I'm not saying Ben Simmons. So before you Ben Ablers come at me, I'm not saying him.
Well,
The trash that I'm speaking, of course, there's you. The trash that I'm speaking on is Wimbledon. This whole this new thing out on Ben Simmons about how he's basically not allowed to enjoy his life in the off season and do things like go to Wimbledon and meet a girl and shoot a shot and score there. Fine, I mean, at least he's finally scored, right? At Wimbledon, but God, like I hate this. It's so stupid. The media's already coming out and saying like, you can't be doing that. It's a bad look. Read the room. What are you doing? Work your ass off. Like he's gonna go out and live his life. Like can we forget if he's doing this and it removes like some of the mental part of his game that he's been struggling with, if he could just get back to normal Ben, so be it. Like who cares? Like I know I've been hating on Ben recently, but I do feel for the guy at the end of the day. He's still a Sixer. Like I still, feel for him, and like it's just stupid. I just hate all the stuff coming out on him.
This is just
leave
Philly.
Ben alone.
Pretty much.
This is just Philly being Philly. Like crazy reactions right after. It's only been what, not even a month.
It's
Or something like that.
Incoming reports whenever he streams on Twitch or something. At least as long as he's practicing, it's fine with us.
I mean, you gotta it's not even been a month. Like you gotta give the guy a little bit of a, a little bit of a break. I mean, but
forget about the trash. Let's talk about trades or just in general. Is there anything new that you guys wanted to talk about that we haven't talked about yet from the Ben battle? Go back and check that out because it was fun.
I was gonna say you can check me on this, but I feel like I threw the name out, De'Aaron Fox.
We might have to check you.
And,
fact checkers.
I feel like
go look it up.
That is, according to Jackson, right before we started the pod, like a potential.
It's looking like a potential De'Aaron Fox deal is in the works. Probably not going to happen. It's probably just all smoke that the GMs are throwing out there to try and increase Ben's value, maybe potentially to get Dame. Who knows if it's real or not? But I think De'Aaron Fox would be good value for Ben. I would like to have De'Aaron Fox. They also mentioned. I don't
think that's a like for like trade for sure. Though, like, yeah, you're not just getting Ben and De'Aaron Fox like straight up.
True. I would like to have De'Aaron Fox on the team. I would like to have Buddy Hield on the team. I don't know how you would get them.
So I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't know much about those guys to speak to that, but yeah, to Flay's point, are those like definite, not one-to-one trades that would be happening? Some kind of package deal going on there?
I'm not sure how it would go either way. I think the report is that they originally offered us Buddy Hield and some other things. We weren't interested, and that they were thinking about doing a deal centered around De'Aaron Fox. I think that the way that we're thinking about it is that we would get De'Aaron Fox and something else, even though De'Aaron Fox is like a really good player, regardless.
Yeah.
I also unrelated. I just want to put it out there real quick because I watched a little bit of Game 1 last night, and just thinking.
You mean you're still watching the finals or the playoffs?
I wanted to I'm a masochist. I wanted to feel a little bit of pain, so I turn the finals on.
Salt in the wound there.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to and seeing Mikal Bridges ball out, and again the Suns getting coached up by Monty Williams, just kind of stings, man.
It's very unfortunate.
Dario out with the ACL though. I saw that's unfortunate.
It's a shame.
But Dario still potentially going to get a ring before Embiid. That's bullshit.
The Sixers.
There's a lot of people striking an asterisk on this season.
I think one thing that we have to keep in mind with the whole Ben Simmons trade situation is
I
that
do have one thing I want to say about that too.
Nothing is going to happen in regards to Ben moving until something happens with Dame, because I think Dame is the prize that we're looking for. So unless Dame is traded, no other trades are going to happen.
Yeah,
I would agree with that, Jackson. That's a good thought.
I was gonna get into that a little bit. I saw a mock trade or something, whatever you want to call it. And I can't remember the exact details of it, but I think it was something along the lines of Ben and Toby for Dame and McCollum, with picks thrown in there and stuff like that. I don't know how that would work out. I'd be down with it. But
I just don't see that happening. I feel like that's too good to be true for us.
I don't think it was actually talked about like it was a thing, but it was a mock trade that someone was like, this could work, because the NBA has weird trade rules, the salaries have to match up and stuff like that, and the salaries did match up in that scenario.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'd be down with that.
I mean, I'd sign up all day for that. The thing is, you're losing defense for all offense.
That backcourt with Embiid, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Embiid is still your defensive anchor at the rim.
You got to remember, he's also a defensive guy as well.
Here's my thing. I'm in on Dame. I'm not in on McCollum. I don't think that. I think they've clearly shown that they don't work. As in, like their defense together is just so bad. I don't think it's going to help us. Maybe with Embiid and his presence in the back.
But if you're
defensively.
losing Harris in that trade, Matisse probably becomes a starter, and then you're running Dame, McCollum, Matisse,
Seth, like I don't. It's too many small players with bad
no,
defense.
it would be Embiid and probably who would your other tall guy be?
We need a power forward. Then
Yeah.
it's messy. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it is a little messy.
Bottom line is, I'm still upset about. I thought this was Colangelo, but I learned that it actually was a Brett Brown and Elton Brand thing for trading Zaire Smith for Mikal Bridges for Zaire Smith. Yeah. And now Mikal Bridges is balling out in the finals. And
yeah, I mean, Elton Brand kind of came in for like a period, I feel like less than a year, and made it like a fuck ton of horrible trades that really doomed our future and used up all of our assets that we had.
Rub the pain in a little bit more.
That's what happens though when you are running a crazy operation and then hire a person who's never been a GM before to be your GM.
Yeah, and it's come up this week as far as like the process. Has it failed? We've already talked about it before, so if you want to check that out, go back to episode 9. But because we think these guys failed the process, not the other way around. But do you guys think? Let's take a couple steps back. Do you guys think that because I think it's definitely true that trades have been fielded or at least looked at.
Oh yeah, they're definitely
by Morey, but he's just looking at them and he's like, I think we're all thinking the same thing, is that it has to be a good deal. Like he's not giving. I have a lot of trust in Morey and just not selling low.
Like people.
The thing with Daryl Morey is we can kind of just sit back, put our feet up, and just be comfortable knowing that he's going to make a move that's like better than we expect. I think
makes sense.
And we don't have to like worry about him doing something
stupid. Yeah.
I'm like 99.999% sure that Ben's value will go right back up to where it was. So, and I can trust that Morey knows that too.
I think it's more likely that we get rid of him mid next season than we do off season.
Yeah, where his potential's highest, you think?
Because I mean, right now I can't imagine there's too many like solid, fair trades being sent to us because of Ben's.
I would think you want to do it early too. Like there's probably got to be a perfect medium where it's like, all right, you want to do it, give Ben enough time where his value, reaches what it was before and it's at its highest, so you get the most back for him. But at the same time, do it early enough so that whoever you're bringing in gels enough to maybe make a run for the playoffs and
I think
kind of get that chemistry growing for the not the off season, but playoffs.
I think that makes sense, but I feel like that rarely happens. I feel like it usually happens right before the deadline.
Before the trade deadline. That's what it probably will become. But
well, honestly, in my ideal world, Ben's gone before the season, or he's here for the season, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think his value goes up to what it can be, though.
Situation we're going to be in, though.
Yeah, I think we want higher value for Ben than we're potentially going to get. I think if we do trade him, it's going to be in a big package for Dame. I think what we might see is Toby leaving before Ben,
which is interesting.
Toby's value is arguably as high as it's ever been.
Yeah. It's something to consider, and I mean, let's be honest. Even at selling Ben high, it's never going to be a 1-to-1 for Dame. So just killing some dreams for people out there who actually believe that. It's never going to be that. It's going to be a package deal.
Ben, Maxey, Thibault, 2 first-round picks, maybe 3 first-round picks, a pick swap too. It would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think that. I think like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion,
Paul George got 5 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps, and a couple players.
So, yeah, it'll be a big deal either way to get him. But any trade rumors, anything you guys got on sending Ben or even Wimbledon?
Nothing new.
Yeah, I think besides we were thinking about talking about Sexton and Love for Ben. Right. I heard that we were not interested. I heard we wanted more than that.
Okay. So
makes sense. I feel like Sexton is not a good enough ball handler for Ben alone that you want to like replace him with.
I kind of disagree. I think Sexton has super high potential, but I think regardless, you'd want to deny that just to like maybe inflate his value.
Yeah. Don't jump on anything just yet. I think either way, unless it's an amazing blockbuster
It's a chess
trade.
match.
But yeah, you got to go back and forth. You got to play the game a little bit. So, all right, no, good. I mean, as long as Ben keeps shooting his shot, and now eventually he'll get back to his normal self.
Shooting his shots. His
Shooting
million shots.
shooting shots. So, but for the rest of the team, right? Peaks and valleys. Who's at the top? Who's at the valley? Who's sticking around? Who are we not giving up? Jackson and Flay, you talked about the farm system and being two guys of Maxey and Thibault. So who are we not giving up no matter what at this point?
I think right now all you can say is you got to hold on to Embiid, and everybody else, it's up to
It's fair game.
up to what happens. Yeah.
Okay.
While that's unfortunately true, I think that we have such good value for Maxey and Thibault right now in the terms of what they can become against what they were picked at, that it's worth the long term. But again, yeah, that's the thing with Daryl Morey. He's very much like Sam Hinkie. Is like anytime he's gonna jump in the value. Which, speaking of your boy Howard Eskin, which goddamn, we gotta stop bringing him up so much in this pod.
He's not my boy.
He was asking Morey.
I extremely dislike him, but
he was asking Morey just some straight up stupid questions in
Well, I
the
think
press conference a couple weeks ago, and it was just cracking me up and also pissed me off.
I think with the whole current value of like the players on the team and like buy or sell, would you want to hold on to them? Are you guys willing to die on anybody's hill, of making sure that you keep them on the team if it costs selling them to get like somebody like Dame Lillard? Is there anybody that you wouldn't trade for Dame besides Embiid?
Joel?
I would say if we had to get rid of both Maxey and Matisse, then I would, like, alongside with Ben and how you said with like multiple draft picks, I feel like giving both of them away is a little hard.
It's definitely hard.
I'm gonna bring it. Go ahead, Brits, and then I'll follow up.
Yeah,
That's why I can't be a GM in the NBA, dude.
I don't know if this exactly answers your question because like I'm not sure exactly where I stand on that, but
Ideally, I really want to see Joel, Toby, and Seth come back because I really think.
Yeah, you said the name that I
All
wanted.
three are absolute studs, and I love them.
Yeah, I think we should try our best to keep them. Obviously, still want to have Maxey and Matisse with us. They're just really good young players that have a lot of potential. Unfortunately, 4 of those 5 guys are probably on the block right now. Not on the block, but like being talked about in trades.
Seth's value is probably at an all-time high right now too.
Yeah,
but
just speaking of where everyone sits at.
Especially for his contract.
I mean, Jackson's always talked about how he can be a second, point scorer on any team now. So he was actually the one name that I want to keep just because I feel like that's what we always gone out and tried to look for.
And he's low.
$8 million a year for the next 2 years.
I mean, we had it with Redick, but other than that, I feel like we always looked for that like shooter that we can rely on, and I just don't want to let that go. He's the one name that I think I don't want to give up, even though I think we could get a lot of value back. But everything else, I think yes, you can bet the house on if you're getting a guy like Dame. Because thinking back, it's all because of this Joel Embiid window, right? It's so short. You need to get that other elite guy that's going to close this out for us, who's going to be a closer in the playoffs, in the finals. But I just don't want to give up Seth because I think he has so much potential, and I think we finally found that shooter that we can rely on.
And he's actually like ungodly, like historically good at threes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's tough. It's impossible to replace that almost.
And he's like at his peak with our team right now. So like ideally you want to keep him around the guys he's with.
Yeah, I mean when you shoot 50 to 60% from 3 in the playoffs, I mean it's hard to let that go.
Something that goes hand in hand with that though is his percentage was so high potentially because he played with Ben. So it's tough to sort of split him and Ben up.
Definitely,
but
it's a factor.
It's hard to split.
Which is like definitely fake news.
It's definitely a factor you got to look at.
It's definitely been real, but sayonara. So are we holding on to this topic, or are we selling and we moving on to finally appreciate Zoo a little bit?
I think we
Let's
got to
pass
sell
it
him.
on, yeah.
Love our Zoo.
Let's move on to the voice of our Sixers life, honestly.
Yes, let's move on to Zoo. You fought the good fight in no particular hurry. You turned gold into everything you touched, and you're now coming for a landing. So just wow. Wow for Zumov. Got to appreciate him.
Shot clock's unplugged.
Definitely caught me
It's
by surprise.
caught Flay by his supplies.
Supplies.
But I mean, this guy, I feel like I've only started like following the Sixers. I'm going to be totally honest, not too long ago, and a guy like Zumoff really caught hold as far as me listening and actually paying attention, and like he's clearly like a homer for the Sixers, right? But at the same time, in the way he called the game, he was always fair, respected what the right call was. And he just made it fun. I mean, you could tell that this guy followed the Sixers his whole life. And for the past 27 years, I mean, you gave us a lot of good memories to follow, in 2001. And then also just, the Sixers playoffs that we've gotten experience the previous past couple of years. So he's made a lot of fun for me. But do you guys have a favorite Zoo memory or line that, he always dropped, on these games for us?
I'll be real quick on this. I can't say I'm in the same boat as Caputi kind of like I haven't watched as much as you guys have. I'm not as long as you guys have, but last 4 or 5 years, he has. I mean, any Philly broadcaster like that's been around this long, you gotta like have major respect for him. And all I'll say is it's just sad that he didn't get to see a championship. That's the tough part.
He's definitely gonna get a ring, honestly, when it does happen.
Right.
I'll say Zoo was I probably could speak for you too, Jackson, when I at least say that Zoo was the voice of our Sixers lives, honestly. Like from AI to Iggy all the way up to where we're at now with Embiid. Like that man rode the peaks and valleys for the entire time of our lifetime. So it was pretty crazy watching him retire.
Yeah, he's probably like the only sports announcer that I like, besides Allah, obviously. But like the only one that I've like really like grown up with and like watched consistently and really like liked. He's probably my favorite sports announcer. I'm very sad that he's going.
Definitely on the Mount Rushmore of Philly commentators.
And I hope when the Sixers are winning their next championship coming up soon, that Zoo's there banging on the bell.
That would be a great bell ringer.
You know he will be. I mean, that last game, he definitely will. It has to be him. I mean, when you put him in the likes of like Harry Callis and all these great announcers, Merrill Reese that we've grown up listening to, I mean, you know he did something right. And this is all he wanted. I mean, if he was offered a national job or a job anywhere else, I don't think he would have taken it. It was either retirement and living another phase of his life, or all Sixers.
I don't know if he could actually have that same excitement if he was broadcasting other teams.
Another team.
The Sixers, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude, the guy said he wanted to
I'll give you guys
pursue his
one more
golf
question.
career.
Yeah, he said he wants to learn a few more instruments. I really like that he said he's going to personally thank every single person.
Next stage in life, yeah.
Dude, we got to try to see where
he's writing back. Yeah, he's writing back. So I don't know if we want to do we want to give him 4 more letters? Maybe we do, but yeah, he's reaching out to all the fans. He is a fan.
Get him on the pod, yeah.
Send him one from the pod squad.
Philly Escape Pod letter, and if he responds, we'll put it on the pod.
Zoo, if you're listening, if not, we'll try to find you. We need you in here. Because you can close out the pod for us. You could say coming in for a landing instead of me every week.
One question for you guys: do you think the Sixers will trade Ben Simmons or find a new commentator first?
I mean, they're probably gonna have to find a new commentator.
They're gonna have to work on that.
Anyone's been announced, honestly, as a new commentator.
I mean, they were the dynamic duo. They were the.
I can't imagine. Allah's too much of a loose cannon to go solo, dude.
it was the perfect give and take.
You need someone to rein him in.
It's Zoo narrating and Allah just kind of being a soundboard. It was perfect give and take. I don't know how you replace that, but
bring back Malik Rose, him and Allah.
Oh my god.
Maybe Mark Jackson.
I mean,
God.
maybe. We'll have to see.
Not Jim Lynam, honestly. I mean, I respect Coach.
He could stick with the
oh shit, dude.
He could stick with the post game. I'm okay with that, but all right. Close this out, Zoo. We're coming in for a landing, launch, and landed. Thank you guys for special episode 10. This is a big milestone for us. I mean, earlier in the year, I don't think we even thought we were going to put a podcast together. But we're here.
The pause now.
We're here now. Sorry for the late one hiatus for the 4th break, but we're back and we're going to come out. You see the Eagles colors, and we're going to talk more Eagles for you. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's bird season, baby.
It's bird season. So if you see me anywhere, probably at a bar, a chant will be started. and you better be there to ride with me. So
These
ride or die fans.
These Birds podcasts, once the season starts, are going to be awesome. So everybody needs to tune in for those.
They're going to be hype. But remember, lock all doors and windows, especially if you're Jackson in the bathroom. Having diarrhea with my mom walking in on him. Not a good look. All right, so we're closing it out there. We'll see you guys next time, episode 11. See you
guys next time.
Peace.
Peace.